Alright, welcome back. I noticed in my last two videos there was no... I wasn't talking, even though I was absolutely talking throughout the entire thing. It turns out the microphone on OBS was muted. I did not notice that, and I realized it was because of my Cards Against Humanity recordings. It kind of ran a little late into the night, and past 9 p.m. my family started going to bed, so I had to turn off my mic and make sure my captured it and captured my grunting and coughing and stuff like that. Speaking of, I'm a little sniffly. You might hear me sniffle a little bit. I'm not sick per se, but I am suffering a little bit of nasal drainage. I did take some allergy medication. It's just one of those days. Virginia weather is pretty insane. It was warm yesterday, now it's cold today, and it just wreaks havoc on my nostrils. So I tried to remember some of the talking points that I had. I was talking about Andromeda a lot a couple episodes ago, but you know, muted and all. But so I've written down some of the talking points, which I'll get to after, or maybe during this fight. Now, this is if memory serves, this is a pretty intense fight, so my thoughts and comments will be fragmented to a certain degree. Now, at the end of the last episode, I got in the mood after talking about Andromeda so much, I got in the mood to sort of do a retroactive review of the entire Mass Effect trilogy. It's getting some pretty good reception. I will try to link it. The link to my article when I cover the basic story and very, very bare bones story. I don't exactly do a...
This isn't over until your next.
I just talk about the games. I don't go by a play-by-play of the entire lore of the world. That's a whole different article on its own.
Never.
But I just sort of review the games one by one, and talk about how they tie together.
Aria, don't.
And I'll talk more about Andromeda.
What the hell is she trying to do?
Some of the early access reviews are starting to come in, and some reviewing platforms have been sponsored by AEA. They've got their hands on it a little earlier, even earlier than Origin early access people. I guess they just gave them the first 10 hours of the game even before consumers got it, and the first wave of reviews are basically coming in a sort of first impressions type capacity, and they're a little bit mixed, which is fine. I think the game's going to be good. I'm watching a Let's Player, a sponsored Let's Player, do his or her. There's no commentary, so I don't know who they are. They're doing their first 10 hours in full recording, no commentary, so it's no distractions, no random spouting of annoying catchphrases. So I'm a fan. I've subscribed to them, and it looks good. I will say the one consistent comment that people are complaining about: human animations do look very wonky. I will absolutely agree with that, but it's something I can get used to in time. I just feel like it's not really a deal breaker. It doesn't break the game. It just, the facial animations are sometimes a little over exaggerated. If you're a frequent peruser of the YouTubes, if you remember, somebody did like a heavily modded Fallout 4 thing where the facial animations became like super exaggerated, and it was hilarious. I forget how long it was. It was like an 8 or 10 minute video of their character just having multiple conversations, and it applied to every NPC in the game, including the character. So everybody just, it was really funny. I might try to find that link, that one too. Depending on how much I want to work for it. Work to find it. But the thing is,
Sorry. How did you know you could do that?
watching Mass Effect Andromeda, it felt like a more subdued version of that. And that's not a great sign. Okay, now I'm alone, so that's what makes this area just ever so slightly more challenging. That's another thing I was talking about while my mic was muted accidentally in the last videos. Omega suffers, the Omega DLC suffers from the same thing I usually have throughout this entire game. I've done it 20,000 times, so I find it a little less interesting. It tries its best to do some atmosphere. Like I was talking during the first encounter with the adjutants, and again that was all muted. And I didn't really like. You're a shepherd. You're armed out the asshole, so there's nothing the game can do to threaten you much. So I mean, they tried to balance it out with the atmosphere, and I just didn't really feel it. I never did. But anyway, back to Andromeda. The rock paper shotgun reviewer pretty much hated it, or he found the first few hours absolutely dreadful. And I quote, dreadful. He complained about shit like the UI being too large, and I'm watching this Let's Player, and it looks fine. Like, I don't care.
You can't do this, Commander. There's more at stake than you know. That reactor powers life support systems for dozens of wards across the station. Shut it down and thousands of people perish.
You hearing this, Arya?
Yes, and I
So,
don't
yeah.
care. Shut it down. Shepard, don't. Try rerouting power away from the force fields.
Oh.
Damn it. Hold tight down there.
Rerouting the power to maintain the other systems.
I'm gonna be a good guy.
Easy. We're almost spent. Nyreen, watch your flank.
This is who you're working for, Shepard. She doesn't care who gets hurt.
What are you waiting for? Overload the reactor.
She'd just throw thousands of lives away.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Nyreen's down. I'm stabilizing. You can't reroute power in time. Hit the fucking overload. Now.
This should
So
be
as of this recording, I still don't actually have
you back.
Mass Effect Andromeda pre-ordered or nothing like that. My family is going to try to get it for me for my birthday. My birthday's on March 30th, over a week after it gets released.
Omega loses.
No.
If paychecks align right, they might be able to get it for me. But it's not a promise, so be sure to poke my PayPal if you like watching my videos. I say it's for like better equipment or rent even, but when I say better equipment, I do sort of mean new games, so I can record more recent stuff that people will be more interested in. So I don't know what overloading the reactor does. I think it actually kills people because it like, explodes and shit. Look at that awkward animation. And people are mad at Andromeda for some reason.
All units, battle stations, prepare for attack. Get the demolition crews into position.
But yeah, Mass Effect 3 doesn't look bad per se, and neither does Andromeda. It's just some of the faces are a little wonky. And that, along with a few other things, I just feel like it's stuff that you can get used to over time.
Despite your best
After 10 hours of Andromeda, you'll probably get used. Your brain will get used to all the wonkiness.
It worked. Shepard saved us without sacrificing innocent lives. I applaud her.
I suppose. Whatever. You fought bravely against those mechs in there, Nyreen. Very impressive.
But
Why can't you bring that same grit when adjutants attack?
It's pathetic. You tense up at the mere mention of those abominations.
Lay off. She just saved you.
I had my
I'm
hand
trying
off
to
the
help
mouse.
her, Shepard. Call it tough love. The war's starting. I don't mean to miss it.
she's
But
never
I'm
been big on
really
safety.
enjoying the playthrough on Andromeda that I'm watching. I really like the way it looks. It looks more smooth. So that's most of what I wanted to talk about on Andromeda. I find a lot of the complaints very petty and pointless.
Cerberus pulling back.
I think I saw one Tumblr post talking about, this person never blinks. And I'm like, oh my god, why the fuck do you care? Like, who cares if they don't blink? Yeah, I see Arya blinking right now. That's fine.
Say what you will, Arya.
But it's not that kind of thing. Just is not
Do what you can
distracting to
protect
me.
them.
Of course.
What is distracting is the bad limp syncing. But I played through Life is Strange, which is like a 10-hour game, and their voices never matched with the Mal's, and that's just something you kind of got used to over time. Same thing, really, with Andromeda.
Great,
It's just
engage.
I'll get used to
Delay
it.
them as long as you can.
But
We're
no
coming.
blinking. Like, come on, who cares?
If they detonate the main column,
Like, I'm
they'll cut
27
off
years
the way
old. I
out.
started
The
playing
town offensive
games
will be stopped cold.
in like
So we
96-ish.
split up.
97 is when I started gaming with like the first StarCraft, Unreal 1. No, nobody ever blinked in those. I
Don't
still
count on
had
me building
fun.
your memorials if you get yourselves killed.
I like it when you're feisty.
Oh, baby.
The only route to the central column is through the tunnels.
Okay. I'm not quite at the finale, I don't think. Oh. Oh, bastard. Oh, I missed. There's one complaint that I remember reading about is some of the, a lot of the abilities are very samey, and there's not a sense of progress. Like, there's a flamethrower and an incinerate ability, which all function almost identically, so I can understand that on a mechanical standpoint. And, I can understand that the abilities feel like all the same they're all different flavors of throw space magic at enemy. I get that, but you know what? All these other games, by that logic, all these other games are pretty much the same thing. Like, my incinerate is basically just space magic. But you know what? You make do. Like, whether it's lightning or fire or biotics, it is just all kinds of different things. But typically, you know, all those things do function a little differently. Like, the lightning stuff stuns. The fire is usually a damage over time. So they're not necessarily identical. It's just, oh my god, come on, dude. Jesus. It just depends on what kind of things you want to do to your enemies. But Andromeda has this, like, combo type thing for extra damage that looks pretty cool. Like, the Let's Player that I'm watching throws some fire and lightning at people, and just the enemies just goddamn explode, and it's pretty cool. Oh yeah, after I do the water thing, her couch is down there somewhere. Really? Oh, god damn it. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, okay, 4 columns. It's another thing I was talking about for
Extend the dam in the control room. That should get us.
for Mass Effect 3 here to get more on topic. The Omega DLC has this achievement where you complete like 3 or all of them, I think.
Let's go.
When you do all of the side quests and stuff, see, there it is right there. There's an achievement for it, and I've never been able to do it because there's always something I miss.
Our first target. ETA to the Gozu district is on track.
Excellent.
Eric, found what you wanted. Sending you the coordinates now.
Is that my couch?
I've always found that a little funny. So the fact that I found that means I'm still doing the second to last sequence, I think. And we're at almost 15 minutes, so I'll go ahead and end this one here. And for some of you, it'll be a week. But for new viewers, it'll basically be immediate, because if I own Mass Effect Andromeda, by the time I own Mass Effect Andromeda, all of these will probably be uploaded, so If you're an old viewer watching these week to week, I'll see you in a week. If you're a new viewer, I'll see you soon. Toodles.